Hello, hello. I am Michael's son. So here we are today again at the end of the day and at the end of letter 1 to read the final excerpt, which is excerpt 22 of letter 1. Jesus on his way back from the desert to Galilee. Related thoughts 6. Aspire to achieve the state of Christ consciousness. Having explained to us how he made miracles when being Jesus of Nazareth, the Spirit ends letter 1 with the following words. But note this, I also knew that whatever in that person's consciousness had brought about his crippled or maimed or diseased condition had been erased in his body for the time being. The question was, would his normal consciousness bring about a return of the condition divinely erased from his body? Therefore I said to the person who had received healing, go your way and sin no more. I want you to know and believe with all your hearts that my state of consciousness when on earth, described to you in the above paragraphs, is the state of consciousness to which you should also aspire with all your minds and hearts. My experiences of enlightenment in the desert enable me to achieve the Christ consciousness to a large extent while on the earth. But you can follow in my steps if you have the will to do so, and I will surely be at hand to help you on your journey. You may feel my presence if you are sufficiently sensitive to do so, but if for some time you feel nothing, do not be cast down, because as you do the work of changing your consciousness, you can be absolutely certain you will be tuning into my Christ consciousness, and I will be aware of all that is happening to you. Know that your purpose on earth is to ascend in spiritual consciousness until you transcend all the humanhood which presently holds you back, until eventually you too can control the elements and become a master. Realize too that when world consciousness is fully attuned to Father creative consciousness, all things inimical to the perfect well-being of man will disappear. There will be no more malaria-bearing mosquitoes, locusts to strip your crops, severe climatic conditions, infections, viruses, and everything else which presently cause problems for living things. You will live within a cloak of universal protection. When your own consciousness is perfectly attuned to and in harmony with Father love, then you too will be divinely protected and will become channels of creative design, growth, nutrition, and nourishment, protection, healing, regeneration, fulfillment of need, law, and order. Father love will be operational within your mind, heart, body, and your affairs. It will be operational in all those to whom you direct its power. So the last reading of letter 1 ends here. Excerpt 22 is over. Thanks so much for being here with me today again. Now, in the way of a heartfelt summary of what I believe is the core, the essence of the message of this beautiful, powerful letter 1 of the Great Spirit, allow me to say the following words. The Spirit starts out letter 1 by indicating that He's coming to us through these letters to correct the misinterpretations of His teachings and of His message when He was on earth about 2020 years ago as Jesus of Nazareth. Then, by way of setting a context for the letters at large, He indicates the present state of things in the world, a state of ferocious competition between men, a state of unending war, a state of evil consciousness, of hatred and destruction, of dimensional destruction of Mother Earth, these beautiful paradise we live in. If we see things from a certain objective point of view. And then the Spirit goes on to indicate that formal religions, the traditional religions, and what their ministers and pastors, teachers, have not been capable of holding this dimensional race towards self-annihilation of man, have not been able to correct this sad state of affairs. And so he indicates that the time has come, the time is ripe now for man to ascend in spiritual consciousness and turn over the page of these old teachings. They were good, but they're good no more. We need to evolve spiritually. So, the great revelations that this letter have for us are the following. And what I say next, I say with deep respect, with love and admiration for all of you, my Christian brothers, Christians of all denominations, Catholics, and also every person who believes in a personal God who saves you. I say this with deep respect for your religious feeling, with admiration for your tenacious pursuit of the truth, admiration for your joy despite the difficulties, for your devotion to your families, for your hard-working efforts day in and day out. Now, the first big revelation of letter 1 is that Jesus of Nazareth was a man like us, of the same physical origins, begotten from man and woman. A man who experienced selfishness, but also compassion. And then we have the wondrous revelation of Jesus of Nazareth's experiences in the desert, of which the Gospels tells us nothing. The wondrous revelations whereby he was able to perceive directly, with no veils at all, the ultimate nature of the ultimate universal dimension of consciousness, of creative consciousness of the world, the ultimate source of our being, of everything in this universe. He was able to perceive that, and he was able to perceive with absolute clarity that we are made of that same stuff, that we are individualized manifestations of divine universal consciousness. And so he was able to see clearly with his physical eyes, that nothing in this universe is solid. A reality that modern physics has confirmed and tested in countless tests and experiments. Nothing is solid under the sun, which means that we are just consciousness, that life is consciousness. And what follows from this reality, the divine derivation of this, is that you and I, brother, create our lives, because our mind is drawn from divine consciousness and has the same creative power. So we, through our thinking and through our feeling and through our actions, create our lives and every circumstances in our lives. Thus, following from this, that we are totally, ultimately responsible for our lives, for every single matter of our lives. And if, up to this point, brother, you have experienced a life of sadness, of limitation, and maybe of misery, then you can turn that totally 180 degrees and create, yes, here on earth for you and for those surrounding you, a life with this total blessing, plentiful abundance, growth, protection, nourishment, fulfillment of all your needs, prosperity and law and order. total paradise on earth, because that's what we are called to be and to experience, yes, here on earth. And so we have to grow spiritually. So if anything of these words, anything of this message touches you, at least to the tiniest degree, I invite you, brother, and this includes you beautiful women, sisters, I invite you, bro, to go on reading the letters. Read a bit every day. Maybe a page or 2 pages if you're a good reader, or maybe just a paragraph, and meditate upon that. But read the letters every day. Meditate every day. Start meditating if you haven't done that before, because meditation is indispensable. Bit by bit, take baby steps. And keep on saying your prayers, your passionate, devout prayers, but with one change. Do not go on addressing your beautiful prayers, your personal, intimate, heartfelt prayers to a personalized God, because there is no such thing as a personalized God. Address your prayers from deep in your heart to the universal source of all being, to the divine universal consciousness of this universe, of which you are just a piece of it. But if this is still too hard for you, or you can't do that, well, then address your prayers to the great Spirit of Christ who dictated these letters, the Spirit of Christ. And further, if you are determined to change your life, following the precise indications of these letters, then I invite you to do the exercise that the Spirit puts forth for us in the final pages of the letters. Of this letter 1, which consists precisely of writing, you yourself, writing a letter for you, for no one else, just for you. A warmly compassionate letter, and asking yourself and answering a series of questions, all the questions that you need, following the precise indications. The questions that are there are just mere indications of the type of questions you should ask yourself. Do the exercise for yourself, and of course start with the central question. Brother, are you happy with this life? Are you content with your life? Or would you rather go living no more? Okay? Thanks so much for being here. Really thankful for that. And please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red button. Please give me a like if you like this video, of course. And thanks so much for sharing with your friends. And remember, as I have told you over the past few days, I will suspend the creation and showing of these videos on YouTube for 2 weeks approximately, because I'm going to renovate the format of the videos totally. Okay? I love you all. I truly do. Bye bye. Hasta la vista, amigo. En 2 semanas.